doing today? It's your boy JJ Domination, and today we are here with our notable AFC West Day 2 and Day 3 picks in the 2020 NFL Draft. This is the final one for the AFC. We still have the NFC to go, but we're going to be talking about the Denver Broncos, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Kansas City Chiefs, and wrapping it up with the Las Vegas Raiders. So let's go ahead and get started with these Denver Broncos, and man, they had themselves a hell of a draft haul. I gotta give it to them, and I'll kind of explain my thoughts about the Broncos offseason as well. Let's just go through the list of players. I wrote down 6 players for this team, and it starts off with wide receiver KJ Hamler, a second rounder from Penn State, cornerback Michael Ojemudia, a third rounder from Iowa at corner. Then you have center / offensive guard Lloyd Cushenberry, a third rounder from LSU. Tight end Alberto. I'm not pronouncing that last name. Alberto, fourth rounder from Missouri. Offensive guard Netane Moody, sixth rounder from Fresno State, and wide receiver Tyree Cleveland, a seventh rounder from Florida. So KJ Hamler right here in the second round, considering what you did in the first round by grabbing Jerry Jeudy, double dipping at wide receiver. I love it. Giving Drew Lock all of the weapons possible that he needs to succeed, and this is a good one right here. KJ Hamler can play in the slot, and nice shifty fast guy. He's going to be a lot of fun for Drew Lock to use in this offense. And then you go to the third round, cornerback Michael Ojemudia. He's got the size to compete on the outside at corner, more of a zone coverage corner, which is good for Vic Fangio's defense. It'll be interesting to see, like, is he going to be a starter right off the bat, or is he going to compete for starting snaps, or is he going to be like the fourth corner on the depth chart? It'll be interesting to see. Good value there in the third round. You know, a lot of corners started going off the board, so I thought you got pretty good value right there. And then we get to Lloyd Cushenberry, third rounder from LSU, center / offensive guard, because I don't know which one he's going to play immediately or if he's going to start. Lloyd Cushenberry, I mean, he's okay. He's a solid center prospect, but I'm going to be honest, I do think he's a little overhyped because of where he went to school. LSU, bright spotlight, playing with Joe Burrow. I mean, he's a fine center prospect. I don't think he's, like, superior. I don't think he should have been, like, a second rounder or anything like that. So, I guess if you consider third round good value for him, yeah, but to be honest, like, we float his name around a lot in terms of, like, center prospects because there isn't really that many good center prospects. You have Cesar Ruiz, Tyler Biadasz, you know, due to injury, and then Lloyd Cushenberry. Well, Cushenberry's kind of okay. You know, like, this is good range for him, I guess. Third round, I do think he's a little overhyped in my opinion because of the school he went to. And then Alberto, tight end from Missouri, they got in the fourth round. What's interesting about this is Drew Lock was his college teammate. Drew Lock used to throw the football to him all the time, and he had his best year at Missouri when Drew Lock was his quarterback. Now they reunite in the NFL. You have Noah Fant there as well. That's a nice tight end duo right there, especially if Alberto continues to not miss a beat with Drew Lock, his old quarterback. Then Netane Moody right here in the sixth round is a steal. If he were healthy, if he didn't have the injury concerns, he's probably a second rounder, guys. I mean, I'm just going to keep it real. He's probably a second rounder if he didn't have all the injury concerns and stuff. He is a beast. He plays with that toughness and that strength that you saw on display at the combine when he bench pressed 44 reps or whatever. I know it's the combine, the NFL Olympics, but on tape he does play with that physicality, and he's going to be a nice piece on this offensive line if he could stay healthy. Will probably compete right away for right guard, the right guard spot, which I think he could get that job. And then wide receiver Tyree Cleveland in the seventh round. I mean, it is what it is. I kind of wrote it down because I think he could probably make the roster, maybe carve out a little role for himself, and if not, I mean, the practice squad exists. So I figured I'd just give Denver a shout. A lot of people will say, well, this team had the best draft, this team had the best draft, this team won the offseason. And a lot of teams you hear is like, well, Minnesota had the best draft, Dallas had the best draft. And I think both of them did a really great job. It's kind of hard to argue against Denver, though. I mean, they loaded up with offensive weapons in this draft. They took a flyer on a corner in the third round that could potentially be a starter. I don't know, man. I mean, I look at Denver, what they've done this offseason, combined with what they did in free agency. It's kind of hard to deny that they've really improved drastically over those two teams that everyone is saying won the draft. So I get your point, and it's probably cheating that I'm including free agency as well, but has anyone loaded up like Denver this offseason other than Tampa Bay and Arizona, maybe? I mean, I think Denver's starting to fly a little under the radar again. The hype train was like kind of there, and then Tampa Bay signs Tom Brady and brings Gronk out of retirement, and everyone's forgetting about the Broncos again. And then this draft comes, and they just knock it out of the park. So a lot of people can debate who won the draft, who won free agency, who won the offseason. This is my pick, Denver. That's my pick, personally. Now we get to the Los Angeles Chargers. Only 3 picks that I have written down right here because they traded their second and third round pick. We have running back Josh Kelly, 4th rounder from UCLA, wide receiver Joe Reed, 5th rounder from Virginia, and wide receiver KJ Hill, 7th rounder from Ohio State. So Josh Kelly right here in the 4th round, good value, I guess. 4th, 5th round, that's about where I would have had him too. I mean, this running back class has some good depth in it, some good talent. You have Austin Eckler, of course, on contract for 4 more years. Who is the other guy? Justin Jackson. He's a pretty solid number 2 option, but maybe you could have Josh Kelly kind of compete for his snaps as well. And if not, I mean, cool. You have 3 running backs that can play. Awesome. Wide receiver Joe Reed in the 5th round out of Virginia. Just good depth, could potentially compete for some snaps down the road. And same thing here with KJ Hill. Kind of surprised he slid that far. I heard at the 40-yard dash or whatever at the NFL Olympics, he ran like a 4.7. You know who else ran a 4.7? The guy on your screen right now, Keenan Allen. Yeah, he ran a 4.7, and I'd say he's pretty damn good. I'm not saying he'll be Keenan Allen, but a lot of Chargers fans are seeing that same parallel, and they're like, well, we might have just found Keenan Allen. And what's interesting is Keenan Allen is a free agent in 2021, so this upcoming offseason. So if you think KJ Hill can be the next Keenan Allen, then who knows? Maybe you just got a big-time steal, but we'll see. I kind of liked KJ Hill. I was hoping the Packers would snag him in, round 3 even, as high as round 3. I had him going around round 3, round 4. This dude slips to the 7th. Great value from the Chargers. I'm not really the biggest fan of Justin Herbert, but I thought the rest of their draft was pretty solid for the most part. Now we go to the Kansas City Chiefs. Only 3 picks to talk about. 3 pretty good selections as well. And we start off with linebacker Willie Gay Jr., a 2nd rounder from Mississippi State. Offensive tackle Lucas Niang, a 3rd rounder from TCU. And cornerback / safety L'Jarius Sneed, a 4th rounder from Louisiana Tech. Willie Gay, this is the player I was hoping Green Bay would draft in the 2nd round. Instead, they take Eddie Lacy if he ever stayed in shape, a.k.a. A.J. Dillon. It is what it is at this point. But Willie Gay, I'm so jealous of the Kansas City Chiefs, man. But they needed another linebacker, even though they just won the Super Bowl. They needed that athletic coverage linebacker, and they got that in Willie Gay. I mean, that's a great pick. I think Chiefs fans are going to like that pick a lot. Hopefully he pans out, man. I mean, his tape when he was on the field was impressive. Yeah, he had some academic issues here and there, but I mean, if he's not getting in trouble with the law or beating up women, who cares, man? Let the dude play. Then you have offensive tackle Lucas Niang. Now, obviously, you have Eric Fisher, who I think is a free agent after this year. So he could be your heir apparent to Eric Fisher. He could be the future left tackle for the team. I do view him as a guy who needs a little bit of development. You also have Mitchell Schwartz, who is entering his early 30s, who is at right tackle. So this is a good little swing at a 3rd-round tackle right here, Lucas Niang. I like the move from Kansas City. Maybe you develop him to be your future starter. So not the worst idea in the world. And then right here, taking a nice value on a defensive back, L'Jarius Sneed. Kind of played all over the place. His best play was at safety, but when he was at corner, he wasn't too bad either. So it'll be interesting to see how he's used, where he ends up playing, how he translates at the next level. Pretty solid from what I've seen on tape. I mean, that's all I really got to say. I mean, I think Kansas City, with limited draft picks, actually did a pretty good job of trying to fill in spots on their team. So I got to give them credit right there. And then finally, we go to the Las Vegas Raiders. And I only have 3 picks that I wrote down. I thought about adding the 2 Clemson guys, Tanner Muse and John Simpson. But yeah, even though I watch a lot of Clemson, I ain't watching Clemson for them. So, like, no offense, I don't know a whole lot about you. I'm just going to be honest. And if I didn't write your name down, that means I don't know a whole lot about you. I'm not going to sit up here and lie and act like I know about a player when I don't. But starting off in the 3rd round, we have wide receiver / running back / quarterback Lynn Bowden, 3rd rounder from Kentucky. And then immediately the pick after, wide receiver Brian Edwards, another 3rd rounder from South Carolina, and cornerback Amik Robertson, 4th rounder from Louisiana Tech. So Lynn Bowden, pretty interesting pick right here for the Raiders. I'm excited to see how he's used, man. He had a similar career to Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb was kind of that quarterback, running back, wide receiver out of Kentucky, except he was way more polished as a receiver entering the NFL, and obviously went on to have a pretty good career with the Packers. Wasn't too bad with the Cowboys last year. We'll see what he does with the Texans, but pretty solid. I mean, I'm excited to see how he's used. Is he going to be a Taysom Hill-like player for this team? Which I'm excited if he is. If you can put this guy in packages similar to Taysom Hill, I mean, damn, that's going to be impressive because he has the skill set to do it. He was pretty good at it with Kentucky. And then Brian Edwards, another 3rd rounder from South Carolina. Pretty solid receiver. Overall, this wide receiver room has a lot of bodies, some good depth on it. It'll be interesting to see who makes the cut and who doesn't. And then Amik Robertson, nice cornerback depth from Louisiana Tech, good athlete, pretty good in man coverage for a guy who went to a smaller school. So it'll be interesting to see, again, if he's a guy that makes the roster, emerges. Last year they drafted a 4th round corner, Isaiah Johnson from Houston. He was pretty solid when he got playing time, so we'll see if Amik Robertson can replicate that. But yeah, that's basically the video for the AFC West notable Day 2 and Day 3 picks. I think the next one that we'll do will be the NFC East, so that'll be like the Cowboys, the Redskins, the Giants, and the Eagles. That one should be a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and peace out.